welcome into another week of Buccaneer Insider. As this one, it's a little bit of a different week. A lot of news broke, especially recently, with a lot going on here in the Big South Conference and well as at CSU. My name's Killian McClatchy, joined by my partner Nicholas Case, and got a lot to talk about, a lot to digest. But we did get a chance. We talked to two really great people again this week. Got to know one of the new faces around CSU's campus, Anthony Izzio, one of the assistant coaches for the baseball team, and then well as the wide receivers coach, Antwan Toomer, for the football team. And it was really fun getting to chat with them, even when things, might not be the way that we would have liked or as happy, but it was still great to chat with both of them and lots to look forward to going forward.
Yeah, just when I think, hey, we're getting the entire baseball coaching staff interviewed, I go ahead and bring in another one. Jeez. But yeah, it was not the easiest week, and we all saw it coming, but it doesn't make the impact any less. And we're hoping we can get things rolling in basketball season, and then spring will be crazy, but we'll be happy to have it crazy because like I said, I had a dream about broadcasting a softball game last night, so I'm missing it, man. I'm missing it.
The itch is there. I can definitely tell you. I know I'm excited to get back there. I miss sports, miss being around all you guys, miss being around all the athletes and everything. So, it was a tough week. I know for us, for a lot of the student athletes, not only at CSU but all around the country, as a lot of stuff's been going on. But there's still light down there at the end of the tunnel. So looking forward to hopefully getting there as quickly as we can.
Yeah, it'll be better. It'll get better. This past week, though, it was a gut punch, but yeah.
Well, hey, this past week was tough. Hopefully these two interviews that we got coming up for you will make it a little bit better. We said, yeah, turn that frown upside down. Antwan Toomer, he's going to be our first one, and he was a joy to talk to. He was a lot of fun, and I think he's the first one. It'll be good to turn the frown upside down and start getting that smile a little bit bigger.
A whole lot of energy and lives by the mantra that we do. We realize how lucky we are to do what we're doing, and we don't take it for granted. And you can tell he's somebody that really appreciates where he is in life and where he can go and where he's come from. And it's kind of the pick-me-up and the pep that we all need at the moment.
Yeah, so we're going to go to Antwan. Before that, can't forget our sponsor, East Bay Deli. I want to thank them for helping us put this on each and every week. As we're back, thanks to East Bay Deli. For Nick, I'm Killian. Let's get to Antwan. Let's get him in here and chat with him. Well, welcome in. Our first guest of this week is the wide receivers coach for CSU football. It's Antwan Toomer. And Coach, welcome on. It's a pleasure to have you. And really, how have you been? I know that a lot's happened over the course of the last week and a half or so, and really the last couple months. So how have you been?
I've been well, actually. Can't complain. Just trying to find a bunch of things to do to keep busy and talking to the kids and keeping them upbeat and uplifted to just continue to try to make it through what we're going through right now.
In general, how are the kids feeling about everything?
I think it's an adjustment. It's just with life. Life will throw things at you, and you just have to adjust to it. And this is all part about growing. And I think the kids are actually doing pretty well with it and just rolling with it, knowing that this is an issue that we can't control and just try to make normalcy out of it.
How have you guys as a coaching staff kind of handled it all, especially because you guys are trying to ramp back up like you're preparing for a season and during a pandemic, and then now everything it's kind of stopped again. So how have you guys handled it?
It's just like coaching in the game. You watch film and get ready and be prepared for a game, but sometimes the team throws something at you that you have to just get acclimated to and adjust to. So as for us as coaching staff, we just say, hey, we're just going to acclimate and get accustomed to it and just continue to try to stay positive and move on and just to prep and to keep ourselves prepped just like we're gearing to play a game.
All right, let's look ahead a little bit. You're the wide receivers coach. Whether it's spring or next year, hopefully spring, we find a way to make it happen. You got some big shoes to fill in. Cam Brown leaving. Who's replacing him?
As of right now, I have a plethora of guys who are going to fight to try to be the next go-to guy. Demetrius Jones, Jaquan Williams. I have Caden Jordan back. I have a young guy and Isaiah Stevens coming up. Ben Harris. Those are the outside guys who have to step up and just be ready to go. But with our slot guys, we're returning a lot with Gio, Gio Wall, Gary Schwarting, Ike Rawls, Quinn Caballero. So we actually have just a group of guys who should be ready to step in. And I told those guys, just don't just know your position, know every position, so we can just put you all in a position to be successful.
One of the big things when head coach Autry Denson came in, he really wanted to change around the offense and really just shift the entire idea behind it to this whole air raid with an attitude that he likes to say it. And so for you coming in here, how has that been for you? You're going out there trying to find guys to catch the football more, and knowing that it's going to be, hey, there's going to be passes coming your direction.
Right, and I think it goes back to me being a high school teacher. When I was at Sprayberry, I had guys on the edge. Drayshawn Miller, who's now at West Virginia playing corner, he was that type of Cam Brown type guy. I had Chris Conley at North Paulding, who's now with the Jacksonville Jaguars, that big body type guy. And then Bill with Trevor at Cartersville, and having my tall guys on the edge. So I just feel like, with me, honestly, I just feel like I'm back at the high school level as far as the plays go. Just making sure the guys, hey, we have fast screens coming, we have tunnel screens coming, we have deep ball, we have slant. So for me, it's actually very comfortable because I'm actually used to being in this type of offense.
Yeah, looking at your time in high school, you've got some impressive names tied to you. Chris Conley, Rodrigo Blankenship, Trevor Lawrence. Who, like, of all the people that you've been around, who's the most quiet person that you've seen take off? Like who's the person that you saw that spark in them and then it just exploded?
Wow, the most quiet person. I've never been asked that question before. As far as being quiet, I will have to say that's a tie and a throw up between Trey Sermon and Chris Conley, as far as being the quiet guy and who just constantly just does what they're supposed to do. But I'll probably have to say Conley, because that was actually my first high school job. And when I took the job, a colleague called me. He said, "Hey, man, I heard you going to North Paulding." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're going to coach Chris Conley." I'm like, "Chris Conley?" He was like, "Toomer, like, he's one of the top receivers in the country. Like, do your homework." And I was so naive. I'm like, "Oh my God, like, this kid is one of the top receivers in the country." Went to UGA, had a really good career, got drafted to the third round by the Chiefs, and now with the Jaguars. And the same thing with Trey Sermon. He was a quiet kid in high school and took off. Oh, and Jabari Zuniga, who just got drafted to the New York Jets. He may be the quietest out of all of them. He may be very, very quiet. So those three are definitely the quietest guys that I've ever had who took off, and God has been leading their way.
Who do you like more, those guys that kind of put their nose down and do the work, or the Antonio Brown types that are flashy and loud but still get the job done?
Actually, I think you have to have a good balance of them both. Actually, you kind of want a different personality in a receiver. I think so. You want that guy who's going to say, "Hey, give me the ball, demand the ball." But actually, I think what that does is that guy who demands the ball is going to demand constant attention. Whereas when you have your quiet guys who don't talk a lot, the defense won't necessarily keep their eye on them, and that's when those guys can step up to the occasion.
So looking at how you got your start in coaching, something you graduated with a degree in criminal justice, and now you're a wide receivers coach. How did you get into it? What got you into coaching football?
Actually, like I said, my bachelor's is criminal justice, and I was doing an internship, and I was with my girlfriend, now wife, and I came back from my internship with the DeKalb County Sheriff's Department, and I was able to see some crazy things, and I was like, is this something that I really want to do? And I came back and told my wife, I said, I don't know if I want to continue on the criminal justice route. So right before I left, I enrolled in grad school to get my master's in educational leadership. I said, maybe I want to get into education, and maybe I want to get into football. She was like, football? I was like, yeah, I think I want to give it a shot. So I'll never forget. As soon as I got back, I called the football offices at Valdosta State, and I was like, hey, I would like to come sit down and talk to Coach Dean, if possible. And they were like, yeah, just come on up here. So I went to the office, and I was sitting there waiting on him. And Frank Dykes, who was the equipment manager at the time, came and said, hey, he introduced himself, said, hey, what are you here for? And so I'm actually here to meet Coach Dean. I want to try to just to volunteer and to help out. And he was like, well, if he doesn't have anything on the field, I have a spot in the equipment room available. And I was like, oh, okay, I appreciate it. So I just kind of just brushed it off. And then Coach Dean came in, and we sat in his office. He was like, well, unfortunately, I don't have anything. And I said, well, I just met this guy, Frank. He said he has a spot in the equipment room. He was like, oh, really? All right, I'll see you this afternoon in practice. So it was like, whoa, just like that. So after that, that was 2008. And then 2009, one of my best friends, Earl Chambers, who was the head coach at LaGrange College, and he also played at University of Georgia as well. He said, "Hey, we have a graduate assistantship on the field for the 2009 season if you will be interested." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, of course." So I took that on, became a GA in 2009 at Valdosta State University. Then 2010, I had the opportunity to get on the high school level.
What was your football pedigree before you got into all the coaching? How deep did you play?
Actually, I didn't play in high school. Actually, I was an equipment manager in high school because I was raised by a single mother with 3 kids. So I worked throughout high school, and I just helped out as much as I could. So I always kind of been a fan of the game and kind of stayed around it. And it was crazy how my path led me here. I was in high school. I worked at McDonald's, the movie theater, Pizza Hut, and it kind of just guided me here. And I think about like people like the Bill Belichick's of the world, and it's like it happens.
It's funny. I never got to play either. I was raised by a single mom, and it was more that she was afraid her little baby was going to get hurt, so I never got to play. Now, later on, I'd go play hockey and lacrosse. I don't know how that was any different than football in a sense, but hey,
Right.
that's why I never got to play football. So I can understand a bit what you're going through. Yeah.
We all have a unique path.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so with you coming up, you not really having much of that playing background or, really even, that coaching background that a lot of people have nowadays. What have you kind of been, who do you kind of look for to pick up on things? Is there anybody in particular that you kind of look up to in the coaching ranks?
Yes, I actually have several mentors who actually molded me to help me get to where I am. Tony Ball may be the number one. Well, he was the receivers coach at UJ. He recruited Conley. He was a huge, huge advocate on helping me to get to where I am. But before that, I had Tyler Arndt, who was a wide receivers coach at Valdosta State when I was there. I learned under him. Then Coach Tony Ball, and then Mike Bellamy. Those 3 guys who actually just kind of taught me the game as far as being a wide receivers coach and what to look for. And I have so many other mentors who out there who helped me just as far as being a coach and helping these young guys. Earl Chambers, Chris Foster at Georgia Southern, Darrell Sims at Eastern Carolina. There's so many guys who helped mold me to shape me into the person that I am that I'll be on here all day just trying to name the names of the guys who helped get me to where I am.
That's the thing about this. You do it long enough, there are too many people that help you, and each of them is so important, and you hate to start naming names because you don't want to leave anyone out.
Right.
What guided you to wide receivers? Was it like just a position you liked, or was it just kind of where you ended up?
It's actually where I just kind of ended up as the graduate assistant. I had no idea on what I wanted to do, what position I want to completely get in depth with. And Coach Dean informed me then. He was like, "Hey, the GA spot is with the wide receiver, so let's take it and roll with it." And I was blessed to be with a very great group of wide receivers then at Valdosta State University, coming off a national championship year, and just to learn from all those guys.
And a little bit kind of, you mentioned some of those names that you've been around, around in high school, Zuniga, Sermon, Lawrence. What did you primarily do to help them out? Because you were a recruiting liaison.
Yes, sir.
So what kind of went into that position? What did you do to help those guys out?
My biggest thing was just talking to college coaches and just being completely honest with them. And I think that's where some high school coaches really don't understand the true nature of endorsing your kids. And it really comes down to knowing your kids, knowing the level that your kids can play at. And the thing is, I used to tell the kids and the parents is know your pedigree. And I said, on top of that, just look for a free education, no matter if it's a big time Power 5 school or Division 3 school. If somebody is willing to pay for your education for free, let's not knock the factor that somebody is trying to help you out to set you up for the world debt free. So I feel like it just came to me just knowing my kids. And a little trick that I used actually lie to college coaches and undersell my kids. And people are like, whoa, what do you mean? Like undersell? For example, let's say like with Trey Sermon, right now he's about 6'2", 215. But in high school, he was out when his recruiting picked up. He was a sophomore, and Trey may have been about 5'11", 185. So when people were coming, actually Coach Denson was actually one of them. Coach Denson offered him when he was at Notre Dame. So Coach Denson was like, "Hey, how big is Trey?" And I was like, "Well, Coach, he's about 5'10", 175. And he was like, "Toomer, like this guy looks bigger than that." I'm like, "Coach, like he's that size. And actually what that did was it actually intrigued college coaches because I would always undersell my kids and they would constantly debate me on the phone like, man, this kid is bigger than that. And then as they get older, because you can't go see underclassmen. So as they get older or we get on campus, they see the kid and was like, this kid is huge. So it actually kind of stuck with my name through the college world that if Toomer is telling you a kid is 5'10", 170, the kid is probably actually about 6 feet, 190. So I kind of made my name for myself by underselling my kids. So every time somebody called me, they knew, okay, I need to add at least 2 feet and about 20 pounds on this kid because Toomer is telling us the truth.
Can you start spreading a rumor about me being 5'6" so people think I'm not actually 5'6" like I am?
I got you. I
appreciate that. So you look around your coaching staff, and there's a lot of Power 5 and even NFL experience. Do you ever have moments where you look around and go, how am I around all these people?
Yes, it's actually a blessing each and every day. It's almost like I want to pinch myself every day, like dealing with Coach Denson, who's still the all-time leading rusher in Notre Dame history, dealing with Armando Allen, who played at Notre Dame and played for the Chicago Bears, dealing with Coach Coolin, who's coached at that level, dealing with Coach Koster, who played at a higher level, dealing with Coach Brooks, who won a Super Bowl ring, being with Coach Vance, who was a high school coach, who coached at many different levels, dealing with Coach Moss, who has a pedigree name in the NFL, who's played in the CFL, and being around Coach Padilla, who's so well-rounded. It's like, this is actually a really, really great staff. And I actually go in that office and am enamored about the type of people that I'm around and just constantly trying to learn.
Got anything, Killian?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. He was so struck by your answer, he was frozen by
it. Text was a little slow there. No, I mean I think honestly, the big thing. I mean, it's been fun talking football with you, and really just kind of how you came up. What have you been doing? What have you been doing this last little bit ever since everything kind of got shut down at the start and over the summer? What have you been up to there? Because we haven't really touched on that with you.
I'm actually just trying to continue to be a father to my sons and to be a husband to my wife, and just constantly just trying to be there for them, and then just dealing with recruiting, still dealing with the high school kids that we're trying to recruit, and to actually have them make part of our ministry, and just being a part of our kids, especially with my wide receivers. I try not to talk football with them, just dealing with everything going on. I'm trying to be a coach, to be a confidant, to be a mentor, and just actually just see how their life is doing, and not trying to bring up football just to make sure they're comfortable, because everybody knows that's what we want to talk about. But I just told my kids, I always tell them, I said, it's always bigger than football. So my door is always open. If we want to talk about something else, let's talk about something else. So actually, I've kind of been staying away from the football talk, but more or less the family and academics and what they're doing with their free time.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the answers given by coaches is that this has been a blessing and that they're actually able to spend time with their family, for better or worse.
Right.
And even on my end, it's the same thing. I've been able to spend a lot more time with my wife. Is there anything that has surprised you about the time that you spent with your wife and your kids that you didn't expect?
Actually, I guess with me is learning my growing son, who's about to be 9 this year, and his different personality. We're actually blessed for him to get into an art school back in Georgia, and he likes to draw, he likes to act. So the school he's going to have the chance to go into drama, into theater, into music, into art. And I knew he can draw, but I actually didn't know how good he really was until I was just walking in the kitchen, and he'll freestyle draw just off the top of his mind. And I was like, wow, I had no idea about it, but just to see my son grow, and just to be there for my wife, and to be a father. And while I was home, because everything happened during the pandemic, it actually put me back in teacher mode, because I was in charge of being his teacher while my wife had to deal with the newborn and me picking up the slack. So I won't have to sleep on the couch.
I'm sure it's a comfy couch, but you don't want to be there.
Yes, exactly.
I've got a nice, this futon is pretty comfortable, but thankfully I didn't spend a night on it though. So I understand. Right. I don't think you have any worries about what your child will become, but I was a drama kid and it worked out well for me. So,
Good.
If there's ever any questions about any advice that you might hear from him, it's just roll with whatever got you there. Because I
Gotcha.
started out wanting to be an actor, and then I got into radio, and now I'm doing this.
Yes, and
so
very successful.
yeah, so it's well, thank you. So if he ever has any questions, or if any advice ever needs to come up, just tell him I say, if there's an opportunity in front of him, take it. You never know where it's going to lead him. So
Right, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
no problem. Us creatives got to watch out for each other. That's why
Exactly.
Coach and
I
are
love
doing
it.
the show. Yeah.
I love it.
Well, Coach, I don't know if you got anything else for him, Nick, but it was great chatting with you, and we appreciate you taking some time out of your day to chat with us.
No problem at all. I appreciate you guys having me on, and I apologize for the hectic day, but everything happens for a reason, so we just got to take it and smile.
I think this entire year has been a hectic day, so it's perfectly
Yes. Yes, I appreciate you guys.
That's true. Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
That was the wide receivers coach for CSU football, Antwan Toomer. It was a great getting to chat with him, and he was running a little bit late today for our meeting and our recording, but it's okay. He was doing it for a good cause. He was doing a lot more than we were in the morning. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, it's been nice. They've been volunteering to deliver food to students on campus, so they don't have to worry about going to the cafeteria, and helping out with some isolation of sorts and safety protocols. And we're going to let you be late if you're doing something like that, because my excuse for being late was I had to take my dog for a walk. I mean, great, love chai, but not quite the same.
Mine would be I was eating cold pizza. So yeah, either way, it was great to talk with Antwan, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I found it's really interesting when you look at a guy like that, and especially with football nowadays, is that you assume that all these coaches they've played, and that they have this big background, and he's not one of those guys.
And it's just one of those things where if you have a thirst for knowledge and you have the wherewithal to put yourself out there for that attempt, like you said, he started as an equipment manager, and then he became a wide receivers coach, and he wanted to learn it. If that's what you want, there will be an opening. It's just finding it and taking the time to work your way up. You're not going to become an NFL coach overnight. You got to start somewhere, and by hook or by crook, if you want it, you can make it happen. And it's such a cool success story, especially as we said, when he's surrounded by these Power 5 and NFL and CFL coaches and players.
Yeah, no, a lot of talent around him, and he's definitely making it work. And that's going to be, once football does come back, I can promise you that's going to be a talented group of wide receivers that he's got there.
I look forward to hearing you yell Garrett Schwarting's name far more times this year.
I look forward to it as well. It was fun getting him in the end zone to beat Hampton, but I like a few more of those going forward. But yeah, we appreciate Antwan taking the time to chat with us, and we do appreciate our sponsor, East Bay Deli. I want to thank them for helping us out. As we're going to move on to our second interview for this week, it is Anthony Izzio, one of the newest faces around campus, another one of those baseball coaches. We're just getting to them all. So here's Anthony right now for you. We now want to welcome in the assistant coach and the recruiting coordinator for CSU baseball, another one of the new faces in that program, Anthony Izzio. Coach, welcome in. It's a pleasure for me, the first time actually getting to see you and meet you. So hi there, and how's it going?
Good, man. Guys, obviously, first and foremost, appreciate y'all having me on. Just excited to get to talk shop with y'all and kind of what we got going in our program and moving forward, kind of our plans. So just excited for y'all to have me and thankful to be here.
Yeah, and so we'll kind of start off the bat. First off, congratulations on the position, and welcome to CSU. And it's a whole new staff Coach Mack's been putting together. So how did you come across getting this job? Kind of what went down for you?
Well, kind of Coach Mack and I have a lot of the same acquaintances over the years during baseball in the South, and I got kind of recommended for the job. He kind of reached out and vetted me. And we kind of crossed paths that way, and it kind of worked out to where he ended up offering me the job. But just, thankful for all the people that kind of pushed me in the scenario of getting here and coming to Charleston and being part of the rebuild Charleston Southern with Coach Mack. I'm excited about it, and just the staff that he's put together. It's been really exciting, and just for the future of Buck baseball.
I like to ask this because we're a big tourist destination. Have you been to Charleston before you got this job?
Once. I came here once as a player. We actually played the College of Charleston when I was at the University of South Alabama. Loved it. Beautiful place. Obviously living here now, and to call it home is really special, and definitely helps in the recruiting process, just being able to recruit kids to come to Charleston and see this wonderful campus that we have, and being able to show it off.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things that I wanted to mention, and we'll kind of get to it, though. You've been kind of bouncing around and moving around a lot here these last couple of years, previously at Tulane, and then now you've kind of settled down here in Charleston. How are you liking the city? Have you found a couple spots already that you like to check out?
Yeah, I love it. It's been good. Obviously, New Orleans was fun in itself, just to kind of be there, and the different traditions and the atmosphere for Tulane baseball games was great. But to come to Charleston and just see this place in its own self, I'm a big a beach guy, and to have the beach right down the road and be able to go to Isle of Palms on the weekends when we're not having baseball, and just being able to spend some time with my family and kind of do those things with my wife and our little one, Ace, has been good, man. And just to be able to get out into the public and say hello to everybody, introduce ourselves, and try to become one with Charleston's been great. So, yeah, we've been fortunate, been really busy in recruiting. So, not as much going out lately on the weekends as far as going to the beach and stuff. But we were able 2 weekends to go to the Isle of Palms and just kind of dive into to being not tourist at a beach destination. So it was good.
I appreciate that pun, whether it was intended or not, by the way. If you're ever missing a little bit of home, Lola's in Park Circle. Good Creole food, beignets, maybe not quite Cafe Du Monde, but it's pretty good.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I'll take your.
I did a job for MLB Network and for the Andre Dawson Classic a couple years ago at UNO, and got a nice little paid vacation in New Orleans for a couple days, and I really enjoyed it. And there's a lot of parallels I see to Charleston in terms of some of the layout and some of the culture and everything. And but if you're ever missing that down home, Lola's is where I'd recommend.
Well, I appreciate that. And obviously, my wife and myself will have to check that out for sure moving forward.
Yeah, I was gonna say Nick's your food expert here in the city. Anything food wise, you know where to go.
That's awesome. Good to know. I know who to check in.
Yeah. I've been here since 1996. I've seen it grow, and I've seen the stomach grow as a result too. So I know where to go.
Awesome.
Well, we'll kind of get back more towards baseball and a little bit more about this staff that you guys have been building up, and we've been seeing, you guys have all been coming together, and you're all, pretty new to being around each other, and you come from different backgrounds and different experience levels. How's that been going, like, for you all meshing together and really trying to become, that cohesive coaching staff?
Yeah, I think leadership obviously starts at the top, and to have Coach McMillan here just to kind of lead our staff in the right direction and help these kids not only as baseball players but to grow as men has been great, and that's kind of what he's had us take on as a staff is to be leaders and our faith to stretch strong and to be able to open that door for our players. And to me, we just got Coach Bortles to jump on our coaching staff. You got a good bit of coaches that have all coming from the Power 5 schools and know how it is to be honest with you, be successful. And, it's really cool to see us all gel together with different ideas of where we've been and what we've been through and who we've coached under. I've been fortunate, man. Been through the junior college ranks, obviously with Coach Michael Avalon, and just his blessings that he's put on me and taught me how to be a coach at that level and develop student athletes. And then also last year at Tulane University to be under Travis Jewett, who I can't say enough great things about, and Jay Ullman and Daniel Latham, and even to our baseball ops guy there in Curtis Akey, who, I can't stress enough how important he is to that program. Just to see how winning programs function and what it takes to be elite is something I can't put a price tag on. And then to be able to kind of bounce those ideas off of, Coach Dendecker and Coach Bortles and Coach Mack and the people that they've been around. It's been cool, man, to be able to kind of gel that. I think our guys are in for a treat. I think what they're going to get on the field and off the field, they're going to really like. And at the end of the day, we all want to be successful. And I think that's one thing that we're going to try to help our guys do and move that way as far as coaches.
Every coach is different in terms of personality, approach, ethic. What is your thing, I guess, is that, for lack of a better term, what sets you apart? What makes you special as far as your coaching style?
I think for me as a coach, relationships are so big for me, especially now in today's world and just with the way things are going. I'm person first, player second. I think what needs to be stressed nowadays more than any is, hey man, you're human and you have feelings, and I know that you don't go out and try not to be successful. To me, I think at the end of the day, if you can be there for them and put your arm around them and love on them and let them know you really do care for them, it's going to benefit you and the program. And not only that, but the young man in himself in the long run, and especially his family. You know, you got parents who are making commitments with their kids for their children to come to school here and grow with us and kind of get out of that umbrella of their parents. And, you know, at the end of the day, I take that very seriously. I think what we want parents to know here is they're going to be taken care of. They're going to be loved on, and not only that, but they're going to become better baseball players, and they're going to become better men moving forward when they leave this program.
So when you were at Tulane, you know, kind of looking back at everything, you mentioned how, you know, you were at South Alabama, you pitched there, and you've been kind of a pitching coach throughout the ranks. And so is that what you did while you were at Tulane, or did you kind of help around with some other things before you made your way here?
No, I actually, you know, been a pitching coach pretty much my whole career, like you said. And last year, Coach Jewett asked me to take over the outfielders and coach first base. And you know, for me, it was one of those things that I think it benefited my career more than I can ever imagine, just being able to learn offensively from Coach Jewett and Jay Ullman at Tulane. Just the offense that they put together there in such a short amount of time is one of the most prolific offenses in college baseball, in my opinion, over the past 3-4 years. And just to be able to learn that side of the baseball actually helped me a lot as far as understanding position players and kind of how they think and how their mind works. And also on the other side of that too is in the recruiting side, it's like, you know what to look for. You know how to just not go out and look at pitchers. You know how to go look at hitters and know what good hitters look like in the swing path and their vision and different components of the swing and kind of the body types of what you're looking for. So, yeah, I just think it helped my career tremendously as far as that goes, and just the growth it was able to put on myself has been great, just to be able to kind of relate to guys on both sides of the ball.
You were technically the second person hired on the staff. That gives you seniority over Matt Dendecker. What's it like to have seniority over an MLB player? I'll
tell you, Deck is one of the he's a jewel, man. He really is. He's great. He's an unbelievable human being. You know, I'm fortunate enough to be able to share an office with that guy and just for him and I just to kind of talk. It's kind of rare. I've actually coached college baseball longer than he has, but he's played professional baseball and I have not. So that's kind of a wash. So I guess the only thing I have to go to is being hired before he has. There's a running joke in the office. I'm going to get a Matt Dendecker fathead over my desk and have him autograph it for me. So I just haven't decided whether it's going to be in a Mets jersey or in a Nationals jersey yet. So, but just to have him around, man, and just for him to be able to talk to our hitters, and not only that, but our pitchers moving forward as far as what pro life looks like, how that was for him, and just his experiences. I don't think, you know, you can ask for anything more from that guy, and just for him to be as humble as he is, it's just great to be able to share an office with him.
Quick Internet search does not show anything for Matt Dendecker bobbleheads, so you might have to go with the fathead.
Well, believe it or not, he still gets fan mail, and he passed out about 10 Topps baseball cards to me the other day. So if you can only imagine the jokes that are going around right now with us is can't put a price tag on them or make them up either.
Is he going to have you sign those and send them out instead of him signing them, or?
We hadn't gotten that far yet. Well, that's still up for debate.
I was going to say, we take you in your prime, you know, feeling 100% out there on the mound. If we throw you out there and we stick Matt in the box, who's coming away the winner?
I'll tell you this, I'm going to challenge him. There's no question about that. I'm not shying away, and he's not getting breaking balls. He's going to get the old heater at about 87. So he just better square it up, because if it's an out, I'm gonna take that as a win for myself. So, probably not gonna blow it by him, but definitely if it's an out, he's wearing that for sure.
It's about 40 miles per hour more than my heater ever was. So, if you ever doubt yourself, at least you're better than me. So,
hey, we'll take what we can get. That's kind of how I feel about it.
I feel like we'll have to organize that at some point. We'll get the cameras out there. We'll even if it is just one AB, we'll see who comes away with it.
I won't ever back down. He knows that. So I may have to have surgery right afterwards. But if it gets me a win in the office, it's worth it for me.
My follow-up was going to be, how long would it take you to get loose to try that?
I was kind of a quick getting loose kind of guy before my starts, but nowadays, I don't know. I've kind of kept the wing in shape with my little one throwing the ball around in the house, but I don't know, to compete against that guy in the box, I'm going to have to get probably 15, 20 minutes longer than I usually would.
A little stiff nowadays.
No question.
It's worth a torn rotator cuff to get that in-office win, right?
Wins in the office are worth anything. I can tell you that.
Have you had a chance to meet the newest hire, Colby Bortles?
Yeah, I actually have. He came for a couple coaches meetings last week, and man, I can tell you, he's the hunger that guy has to just take in anything that anybody's saying, and just the knowledge that he's willing to kind of bestow on our players, as far as like what his playing career was like at Ole Miss, and recently obviously playing pro ball is it's great, man. It really is. It's great. He's a great human being. He actually recently just got engaged. So, congratulations to him and his fiance, obviously moving forward in their life. And for him to have kind of insight from Deck and myself of how to go about that was kind of cool. So he's just a great human, man, and we're lucky to have him. We really are.
For you on the pitching aspect, what's it been like for you to be able to kind of bounce ideas? Obviously, helping with the hitters at Tulane, and then now having Matt there on the staff and Colby coming in as well. What's it going to be like for you kind of be able to bounce those ideas off and help the pitchers out even more to kind of get a little more of that mindset of a hitter?
Well, I think it's a big advantage. I really do. I think it's an advantage to have those type of hitters, and Colby and Coach and Matt, obviously, from what they were looking for as hitters, and Colby just recently doing it not too long ago at a high level. And, on my end of coming from Tulane, obviously doing the offensive stuff, of what we stress on our hitters to look for in certain counts, and kind of a scouting report, pre-series, to be able to kind of stress that to our guys, I think is a huge advantage, and one that I'm excited that I'm able to help them with, because at the end of the day, you're trying to put these guys in a situation to be as successful as possible. And I think that's one thing that coaching hitters at Tulane's allowed me to do, especially moving forward as a pitching coach, is kind of getting the hitter's mindset of kind of what he's looking for in certain counts, and to obviously pitch around that.
I peaked in Little League, so I'm not going to claim any inside knowledge as to baseball, but it always was odd to me that pitchers weren't better hitters, because I would have figured they kind of had an idea of what to do in certain situations, could have kind of reverse engineered that at the plate. But I guess that's more of a thing of overtraining for pitching and not so much hitting. But that's just always been my approach, is not understanding why that was the case.
Yeah, it's a unique game, and obviously scouting reports have taken over, and data has taken over. But to be able to have not just 2 eyes, but now 6 of kind of what you're looking for as a hitter, to be able to kind of pass that on to pitchers is definitely beneficial for them. Well, without a question.
And kind of one of the last few things, I don't want to keep you for any longer than we need to, but you've got some really talented pitchers on this staff that you're inheriting. You've got Daniel Paddysack, to name one of them. RJ Pettit, another one. He was just named one of the top prospects in the entire country. What are you excited about getting able to work with this staff and all those other really talented guys that are back there?
Yeah, I can't tell you how excited I am just to be able to dive in and get to work with these guys. The line of communication since I've taken the job with them has been great. Their willingness to learn and just kind of better their game is something that is really intriguing, and was intriguing about this job to take it was, these guys want to get to the next level, and they want to play at a high level. But also first and foremost, I think they want to win a championship here. And I think that's one thing that I want them to know is possible if you put your mind to it and you put in the work and the time. Obviously, this league is very competitive, and there's a lot of really great coaches in this league and a lot of really good players in this league. And that being said, you got to match it or if not be better, and it's going to take time and it's going to take effort. But I think with those two guys that you named, obviously some additions that we've added and just some previous bullpen guys that were here last year, I think their willingness just to want the information to learn is something, like I said, that I'm extremely excited about. And I think, the sky's the limit for this staff if they're willing to put in the work. But we're going to push them. We're going to demand from them. But at the end of the day, I think that's what they want. I think they want to be, I think they want to bring a championship to, Charleston Southern University. And to me, you got the right pieces in place. It's just got to all shake out right.
Going back to you personally and your playing career, what game sticks out to you the most as the one that you think that was my best game?
Johnny on the spot here. I'm going to go Louisiana Lafayette. Whoever took the series, best 2 out of 3 won the Sun Belt Championship our senior year. We ended up splitting the championship with Troy University as co-champs, but for us to lock that in, and just being able to go against a prolific offense in Louisiana Lafayette in 2013 and just to see what Coach Deggs and Coach Robichaux put together there at that time was pretty special. And to go out there, we were actually down 9-0 in the first inning, and I came in the game and held them at bay for 7 2/3. We ended up winning, I think it was 13-9. We ended up coming back and winning, and ended up clinching the series. That'd be kind of one of my most memorable ones. And then obviously pitching in a regional opener against Mercer and Mississippi State's regional in 2013 was something I can, just look back on as a player and just how special that was for us as a group and just our staff. And to be able to do that was something I'll always cherish.
I was going to say, you don't need to be humble. You can throw out the stat lines if you want. It's fine, man.
I was never a stat line guy. I always focused on the wins and losses. For me, at the end of the day, it was never about me and my stuff. It was always about the guys that were playing with me and behind me that made me good. So, just fortunate enough to be able to be a part of a group at the University of South Alabama that was built from some unbelievable coaches that are doing really big things in college baseball today, and Coach Calvi and Jerry Zulli and, Alan Lucky. The list goes on and on there. Just guys that impacted me in my career just as a player, but was fortunate enough to have some really, really good players that played defense behind me. So the balls that were supposed to go in the 6th hole ended up being out. So I was fortunate enough to have that.
Strikeout or a contact pitcher? Which were you?
Just depending on the day. I'll go soft contact just for a safe answer. I didn't like to walk people. I'm not real big into walks. I don't know that any pitching coach is, but just soft contact, keep the game moving along and trying to give our offense as much ammo as we could to strike early and strike often.
Your broadcaster's best friend was a pitcher right there. That's what I love to hear. The soft contact, keep the game moving along. That's what we love to hear.
From the director, from the play-by-play guy, yes, that's the key thing is just keep it moving along. Love the game, keep it moving on.
Hopefully y'all see that a lot from the Bucs this year. So that's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, well, we're definitely looking forward to getting back out there on the field, and can't wait to see y'all out there. I'll leave you with this last one. If you could have one of those kind of the weird, wacky pitches, that are in the world, you got the, like the knuckleball,
eephus pitch.
Yeah, eephus, screwball. What would you throw if you could throw it and that every time it's gonna come out of your hand, it's gonna do exactly what it's supposed to?
I'd probably go with a knuckleball. I'm a big Red Sox fan. Tim Wakefield's knuckleball to me was always a highlight of my childhood. And other than Aaron Boone parking that thing in left field in the ALCS, but other than that, I'd probably say the knuckleball.
That was that home run was the last of his time with the Pirates, leaving him finally. Yeah. That worked out better.
So it still scars me this day. Obviously, my older brother being a Yankees fan, so you can only imagine that rivalry through our high school career together.
Oh, I was gonna say you can imagine throwing that perfect knuckleball and striking out Matt Dendecker in your little battle in your showdown, fooling him on a knuckleball.
I can promise you this: that'd be the last pitch he thought he was getting from me.
That's why it'd be even more impressive for you.
No question. I hope somebody on video too, because that would play on replay in our guys' locker room for sure.
We will make sure we're out there for whenever this happens. Hypothetically, we will be out there recording it however we can.
Perfect. I'll go after Deck. Try not to put Colby up there. I think he's got a little bit more juice in the tank than Deck does. But Deck's claim to fame is his highlight reel glove catches and stuff like that. So I may put Deck in center field when Colby's hitting against me.
There you go. All right. Well, Coach, we really appreciate you taking some of your time and chatting with us, and we look forward to getting back and seeing you around campus here pretty soon, hopefully.
Appreciate it, guys. Obviously, can't thank you guys enough for having me on, and just excited to see where the future goes for us, and look forward to seeing you guys soon.
That was Anthony Izzio, the assistant coach and the recruiting coordinator for CSU baseball, one of those new faces we're talking about. And yeah, it was great getting to finally meet Anthony for myself, and he's a fun guy. It looks like he's got a lot of ideas and a lot of energy, which is something that I feel like we've been consistently saying with everybody on this baseball staff, but a lot of energy getting ready to bring to that program.
A lot of excitement on their ends to really go and implement their plan and see it through to fruition. And yeah, stopping into the office a couple times as I have, you really feel it too. And you feel the camaraderie there. It's not like the old staff weren't friends or anything, but you feel a lot of connection there. And it's great to see going forward. And I look forward to meeting Colby too, to see how he fits in, and then just be, imposed physically by him like everyone else, apparently.
Yeah, no, you and Anthony will have to team up, the two of you, against everybody else. It's going to be it'll be a little bit of a battle there. I'm excited for the Anthony Izzio Matt Dendecker showdown whenever this happens.
Yeah, we'll see if we can put that on ESPN Plus.
There we go. We'll definitely, we'll whenever this happens, and we'll find a time. We'll make sure we'll get it all organized and worked out.
I'm 100% in. It can be the start of Killian Can, and you'll go up against Izzio right afterwards.
That's not going to be pretty. I don't know. See, I don't know if it would be better for me to go before Dendecker or after, because I'd look like a fool either way. So
what about you swapping in for Izzio? You pitching to Dendecker?
I can do that. I could probably only throw about 5 pitches, and then, we'd need to get a reliever out there because I don't think my arm would be able to hold up long enough. But I could do that one better.
All right, we'll plot this out. We'll make it work.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But either way, we appreciate y'all for joining us for another week. It was another great week of guests. We really appreciate Antwan and Anthony for coming on and getting the chance to chat with them as we inch closer to getting ourselves back in person. Of course, unfortunately, no sports this fall, but that doesn't mean that we're going anywhere. We're still going to be here, and we've got some things, brewing up in the future. I know plans change, but certainly we're going to keep this rolling, and we'll be sure to tune in next week. That's all I'm going to say.
We've adapted so far. We're going to keep adapting. We get a nice sneak preview next week. So stay tuned. Tune in, stay tuned, whatever. Just watch next week. Listen next week. Spotify, iTunes, Google, YouTube, whatever. You can find us.
Yeah. If you can find audio, you can probably find us.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Exactly. And with that, Nicholas Case, Killian McClatchy, thanks y'all for joining us for another week. See y'all next time on Buccaneer Insider.